What are some very creepy facts you know? In the US, if someone is kidnapped and not found within about a day, then there is a 97% chance the kidnapped person is dead. It was once discovered that a fir tree was growing inside a human body. Artyom Sidorkin went to the doctors suspecting something wrong with his lungs. The doctors thought they were dealing with a tumor, but turns out he had inhaled a fir tree seed, which had sprouted and had begun growing in his lungs. Pigs will eat anything. There are stories of pigs entering farmhouses and eating newborn humans. Cockroaches have been recorded eating human flesh, both living and dead, as well as fingernails, eyelashes, feet, and hands. The American cockroach and German cockroach are more likely to bite humans than other species. Pretty sure Australian cockroaches do something equally creepy, but as an Australian who plans to sleep at some point in the future, I'm not going to Google it. Men who are hanged get a death erection known as rigor erectus. Pretty awkward for the family, I assume. According to Abe Lincoln's bodyguard, Crook, he said Lincoln had a dream about his own assassination 3 nights in a row before he was killed. Crook told Lincoln not to go on that fateful night, and all Lincoln said was, "Goodbye, Crook," before he went to the play. This was very odd, as Lincoln always said, "Good night, not goodbye." Human brains, when they dry out, smell like cat piss. That stinky ammonia smell. Worked in an ER for 17 years in CT. Had a gunshot to the head come in, and a chunk fell onto my shoe, and didn't notice. While driving home, was like, WTF, did my cat piss in the car or something? Went to take my shoes off, and was Jeffrey Dahmer tried to make sex zombies out of some of his victims by drilling holes in their heads while they were still alive and pouring acid into the holes. Mount Everest is covered in frozen corpses because removing them is very unsafe and time-consuming. They are easily viewed from the climbing routes, and some are used as trail markers. Female mummies in ancient Egypt were always more decomposed than their male counterparts. They discovered that this was because male bodies were embalmed a lot sooner than female bodies. Female bodies were kept at the family home until they started to decompose in order to avoid necrophilia at the embalmers. There's a parasite that enters a fish's mouth, eats the tongue, and replaces itself as the fish's new tongue. When creating the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland, they couldn't create skeletons that looked realistic enough, so they used real human skeletons. They've since removed all of them, except one. Ducks become cannibals due to boredom of all fucking reasons. They can only be stopped by cutting off their mouths. Don't fuck with ducks. One reason that crows and ravens are associated with death is because they would often follow armies as they marched to battle. Being both carrion birds and extremely intelligent, they realized that a large group of armed men marching on one direction meant that there would be a tasty meal of corpses to eat soon afterwards. When you happen to be murdered, there is only an about 40% chance that your murderer will be found and punished. Edit. A lot of people are asking which country I'm referring to. This is a worldwide approximation. There are obviously countries with higher percentages of solved murder cases, but also some with even lower. For example, in the US, there's a 40% chance to get away with murder. In Mexico, 90% to get away with it. Organized crime. The overall amount of crimes in that area and war plays a huge role in this. Crocodiles can gallop like a horse. I don't like knowing this, so I'm cursing you people with this knowledge as well. Fortunately, alligators cannot. Blobfish, in its natural habitat, looks like a normal fish, but it lives so deep underwater that it doesn't use a normal gas bladder to keep itself balanced. Instead, it has a spongy skin that is slightly less dense than water, which becomes damaged and bloated when fishermen bring it up too quickly. It's not really the ugliest fish. It has just experienced something worse than one of us being thrown into outer space. Between sea level and space, there's 1 atmospheric pressure of difference. Between sea level and 2,000 feet underwater, their upper limit, there's 60 atmospheres of difference. After getting stung by a cone snail, you don't feel the sting for a little bit. There is no antivenom, and it can be lethal. Treatment is basically keeping the victim alive until the venom wears off. Your brain can play tricks on you to make you see monsters in the mirror called the Troxler effect. The Troxler effect is an optical illusion that affects how you perceive things, both visually and mentally. Thanks for the watch. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out my latest videos. I will appreciate it.